Good afternoon, YouTube. JT, Serenity Farms Prepping here. Okay, so, as you all know by now, the SCOTUS punted. Likely John Roberts pushing the narrative. They just don't want to get involved. Whether they're afraid because they'll be harassed, threatened, assaulted, and potentially murdered by libtards, or they just don't have the spine. Either way, they didn't deny the case on merits. They believe that one state shouldn't tell another state what to do. Well, Texas wasn't trying to tell the 4 other states what to do. They were asking the Supreme Court why those states don't have to follow their own constitution and then illegally make rules violating voting laws of every other state that followed their rules, disenfranchising their voters. If those 4 states were complaining their voters would be disenfranchised by an overruling, well, that's tough crap. You disenfranchise those voters in your own state when you illegally changed the rules so that you could play around. Remember, we're all on censorship watch now. Okay, so that aside, there's still plenty of other suits being filed, and we'll see how those goes. Ultimately, the plan is to get to the legislature to get them all to pick the electors. We'll see how that goes. See if there's any Republicans with spine. But I'd rather get to a statement Allen West made after their decision, which you've probably all heard by now. Allen West floats secession after Supreme Court decision. Allen West is a former military man, a very good Republican, and currently the Texas Republican Party chairman. In his statement, and I quote, "Perhaps law-abiding states should bond together and form a union of states that will abide by the Constitution." While that sounds great as a blanket statement, it's just too wide open. And here's why I believe that. So, with a secession, let's say 25 states decided to secede and become their own country, and 25 libtard states are their own with those 2 running it. How would it work? We cannot have 25 conservative states here and there. We can't have Florida down here. We can't have Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota up here, Missouri. We cannot be spread out. We know the left is never going to give up trying to confiscate all guns, collapse the country, bring in their New World Order crap, make us a third world shithole and enslave us all. They're not going to stop until they achieve that goal. So if we were going to have a secession, all the states would have to be connected. And we would have to have our own border all the way around. We'd have to have our own army. The left is never going to give up. They'll bring in UN troops, all sorts of foreign troops, all their Muslim terrorists, all their illegals. They are not going to stop. They have said as much. What about commerce, interstate travel, food supply? Who makes the food? Who delivers the food? Jobs, electricity, the grid is one. It just won't work. Who gets what states? Okay, we already know both coasts are socialist. The West Coast, California produces a lot of stuff. Okay, but there's Midwestern states that produce a lot that coastal states don't produce. Could potentially two separate countries within one country survive food-wise? Yes, probably could. Electricity. It doesn't matter what rationale we use to divide everything up, because we don't want to blow them off the map. We just want to be away from them and have them leave us the hell alone. We really don't care if we ever have to deal with them again. We'll be our own country, you be your own country. Good luck, good riddance. We would even be open to interstate travel and some interstate commerce. But the deep state globalists that are running the libtards are not going to allow that. They don't want us to exist, period. As long as we're around, we are a threat to everything they want to do. To their own people, I might add. The useful idiots. I just don't see in this atmosphere how it would ever work. The left will not let it work. They are not going to be happy with 20 or 25 states of libtards who can't do anything. They can't do physical labor. They know nothing except how to sip a latte, cuddle a teddy bear, and color with crayons in mommy's basement. But they have all the countries who hate us, and they have the Chinese who own them all ready to help them for their new world crap. So I just don't see how it can work. Not in the climate we're in right now. They hate us and literally want us gone. We hate what they stand for and just wish they'd all go away. There could be a civil war between the two countries within the country, but it would be us versus them and all the scumbags from around the world that hate us as well. So, I don't see secession in the terms that most people think of it ever succeeding. Even with the way I just explained it, I don't see how it works. Let's look at, okay, I live in New York. We've been trying to secede from New York City and Long Island for a few years. They don't even know how that would work. But they want to do it. California is probably the closest state to having California and a new California. Secession will be a rapidly growing idea if this election continues to go south. But everything that us patriots know the left is already probably going to do if Trump wins, they're going to do if 25 states try to secede. I don't see it happening. I understand that Colonel West may have made that statement out of frustration and the knowledge that something is going to have to be done. We already know Washington State, Oregon, California, and Nevada are talking about seceding when President Trump wins. As conservatives, we would say, fine, good riddance, see you later, bye-bye, good luck with that. Oh, by the way, we're providing you nothing. We wouldn't do that, but that would be nice. You want to secede? You want to be on your own? You're going to be on your own. So, I just saw that statement, and it sounds really good at first. Everybody's like, yeah, let's just get away. We'll make our own country. President Trump can be our president. We'll have our own government. There'll be no welfare. That sounds wonderful, and it could happen. But in this climate, no, we'll never see it. We'll fight for it, but we probably won't get to see it if it ever did happen. And not because of old age, if you know what I mean. So, that was just a little rant on secession. I don't disagree with Colonel West at all. I respect him. I understand the statement. I don't have knowledge, and he did not expand on the statement, so I don't know in what capacity he means by secession, but I don't think it matters. The left will not let us live our lives. It's not going to happen. They've already told us. So what's next? Well, there's still a lot of lawsuits going on. I think the ultimate plan is to get it to the Republican legislators to pick their own electors. Remember, President Trump and his advisors and Sidney Powell and Linwood, they had all filed a bunch of lawsuits already, and then all of a sudden Texas said, hey, we're going to do this one too. Okay, it's like you're at home working on something, you and a couple friends, and everybody's got good ideas, and you're moving along and things are getting done, and then another friend shows up and says, hey, by the way, I got this great idea, let's try this. Hey, we're open to ideas. If that works and makes things easier for us, let's do it. So that friend implements their idea and it doesn't work. And you're like, okay man, thanks for trying. We're going to carry on the way we were going, and eventually we're going to get this thing fixed. How's that for an analogy? Alright, let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, comment, notification bell. But for now, JT, signing off.